Hello, I'm Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and welcome back to my official channel.
Hey guys, it's Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and welcome back to my official channel. Grab a massive cup of coffee or maybe something a lot stronger because I am literally shaking as I type this out for you all today. And my eyes are burning from staring at the screen for hours. But I just had to get this out because the news I have is so huge and so dark that it feels like my brain is short-circuiting trying to process it. I am running on zero sleep right now. Just pure adrenaline and caffeine and the sheer shock of what the writers have just done. So forgive me if this is a little all over the place. Or if my sentences are clunky, I am just dumping all my raw thoughts directly onto the page because we need to talk about this right now. It is over. It is actually over. And not just a breakup over a permanent, tragic, devastatingly final kind of over. So let us just dive right into the madness because we all knew this Deacon and Taylor thing was a ticking time bomb. We all felt it. You guys felt it in the comments. I felt it reading the scripts. Steffi literally warned her mother. Steffi stood there and told Taylor to cut it off, to stay away from Deacon Shark, to stop playing with fire before she got burned. But Taylor didn't listen. She just couldn't help herself. The sizzle, the attraction, the danger of it all. Taylor Hayes, this world-renowned psychiatrist, completely ignoring every single red flag and just diving headfirst into an affair with a man married to the most dangerous woman in Los Angeles. And now she has paid the ultimate price, the absolute highest price, because Sheila Sharp is not a woman you play games with. And Taylor just lost the game of her life. It all started with a phone, because of course it did. It always starts with a glowing screen in a dark room. Sheila was just going about her business, probably thinking about her marriage, thinking about how she finally has a family and a husband who loves her. But then she saw it, the phone, Deacon's phone sitting there, and it buzzed or lit up or whatever it did. And Sheila looked and she saw the text, the romantic, sickeningly sweet, illicit text between her husband and Taylor Hayes, the woman who has judged her for decades, the woman who is the mother of the girl she shot in an alleyway. And you have to understand the psychology of Sheila in this exact moment. She didn't scream. She didn't throw the phone against the wall. She didn't go raging through the apartment, breaking things. No, she went completely terrifyingly cold, ice in her veins, because that is the scariest version of Sheila, the quiet one, the calculating one, the one who realizes that her entire world is a lie and decides in a split second that someone has to die for it. And she chose poison, which is so incredibly poetic and twisted when you think about it. Usually Sheila is a gun girl. She likes the loud bang. She likes the immediate destruction, but this time she wanted it to be intimate. She wanted it to be quiet. She wanted to watch the life drain out of Taylor's eyes while pretending to be her friend. So she got her hands on arsenic, good old-fashioned, brutal, untraceable in the moment arsenic. And she formulated a plan that is so sick, it actually makes my stomach turn just typing it out. Sheila decided to use Taylor's own profession against her. She booked a session, or at least she showed up at the office under the guise of needing psychological help. And she brought a gift, a peace offering, a cup of tea. Just imagine the scene. The quiet, serene psychiatric office, the soft lighting, the comfortable couch where Taylor has spent years fixing other people's broken minds. And in walks the devil herself, holding a steaming cup of herbal tea, pretending to be grateful, pretending to be a woman who has been saved by therapy. And Taylor, God bless her, Taylor bought it because Taylor always wants to believe she can fix people. She wants to believe her therapy works, even on a certified psychopath like Sheila. So Sheila sits down, she smiles that chilling, dead-eyed smile, and she says, thank you. She literally looks Taylor in the face and thanks her for helping her marriage, thanks her for being such a good influence. The absolute irony of it is staggering. because Sheila knows Taylor is sleeping with her husband. And Taylor knows she is sleeping with Sheila's husband, but they are sitting there playing this polite, civilized game of therapist and patient. And the whole time, the arsenic is just swirling around in that hot water, waiting. So Taylor takes the cup. She probably smiles back. Maybe she feels a twinge of guilt because she is actively destroying this woman's marriage while accepting a thank you gift for saving it. The hubris of Taylor in this moment is wild. To sit across from Sheila Carter, the woman who shot her daughter, and drink something she handed her, but she did. She brought the cup to her lips and she drank, and Sheila just watched, not blinking, just staring with those dark, empty eyes as the poison went down Taylor's throat. Arsenic is not a gentle way to go. It is violent inside the body. It burns, it cramps, it destroys the system rapidly when given in a high enough dose. And Sheila definitely gave her a massive dose because within minutes, the session took a turn. Taylor probably started feeling the heat in her stomach, the metallic taste in her mouth, the sudden overwhelming nausea and dizziness. And she looked at Sheila, and in that moment, the mask dropped. Sheila stopped pretending to be the grateful patient. She just sat back and watched the poison do its work. I can just picture the realization hitting Taylor, the sheer panic. The moment she knew that she had been played, that her secret was out, that she was going to die in her own office because she couldn't stay away from a bad boy. She probably tried to stand up, tried to reach for her phone, tried to call for help, but the arsenic was too fast. It took her legs out from under her. She collapsed onto the expensive rug in her beautiful, serene office, gasping for air, clutching her stomach, looking up at the woman who was murdering her in plain sight, and Sheila didn't say a word. She didn't need to monologue. The text said everything. The poison said everything. Sheila just stood up, smoothed out her clothes, looked down at the dying woman on the floor, and she turned her back. She walked out of the office, closing the door softly behind her, leaving Taylor Hayes to die alone on the floor. Cold, calculated, absolutely ruthless. It is the most chilling thing I have ever had to report on this show. Just the sheer lack of humanity. But that is Sheila. When you threaten what belongs to her, she eradicates you like a pest. But the tragedy doesn't stop there, because we have to talk about Deacon. Poor, stupid, reckless Deacon Sharp. Because while all of this was happening, while Taylor was literally fighting for her final breaths on the floor of her office, Deacon was packing bags. He had made a decision. He was going to run away with Taylor. He was going to leave Sheila behind, leave his life at Il Giardino behind, and just escape with the woman he loved. He had this whole grand romantic plan. He was probably texting her from the car, telling her he was on his way, telling her to get ready. Swept up in the fantasy of a new life, he had been hiding out, getting things ready, making sure Sheila didn't suspect anything. The absolute fool. He thought he was outsmarting his sociopathic wife. He thought he could just slip away into the night with Taylor and everything would be fine. He had no idea that Sheila had already read his messages. He had no idea that his romantic texts were the exact thing that signed Taylor's death warrant. He was driving to the office thinking about their future, thinking about sandy beaches or a cabin somewhere, thinking about finally being happy. And then he arrived. He probably parked the car hastily, ran up the stairs or took the elevator, his heart pounding with excitement. He opened the door to the office, expecting to see Taylor standing there with her bags packed, ready to run into his arms, expecting a kiss, expecting the start of their new life together. But that is not what he found. He walked into a nightmare, a literal waking nightmare. He saw the spilled tea. He saw the overturned chair, maybe, and then he saw her, Taylor, lying on the floor, barely moving, barely breathing. The life almost completely drained out of her. And I just cannot even imagine the sound that must have come out of Deacon's mouth in that moment. that primal, gut-wrenching scream of a man who realizes his entire world has just been shattered. He dropped everything. He fell to his knees. He slid across the floor to get to her. He pulled her up into his arms, shaking her, begging her to wake up, begging her to look at him. His hands covered in her sweat, his tears falling onto her face. Taylor was barely hanging on, just waiting for him because she needed to see him one last time. She was probably in so much pain, so much agony, but she felt his arms around her, and Deacon is sobbing. He is completely broken. He is screaming for help, but knowing deep down that it is too late. He looks at the teacup. He looks at her face, and he knows exactly who did this. He knows Sheila did this, and the guilt, oh my God, the guilt that crashed down on him in that moment. Because it wasn't just that Sheila murdered her, it was that he caused it. His texts, his sloppy, reckless behavior, his plan to run away. He poked the bear, he provoked the monster, and Taylor paid the price for his mistakes. If he had just left her alone, if he had just listened to Steffi, if he had just stayed loyal to his crazy wife, Taylor would still be alive. She would still be sitting on that couch treating patients. But because of him, because of his selfish desire to have her, she is dying in his arms. And then it happens. The final breath. Taylor looking up at him, maybe trying to speak, but not being able to. Just a soft exhale, and then nothing. The light goes out of her eyes. Her body goes limp in his arms, and she is gone. Just like that. Decades of history, decades of fighting with Brooke, decades of loving Ridge, decades of raising Steffi and Thomas. All of it gone. Snuffed out by a cup of poison tea and a jealous psychopath. Deacon just collapsed over her body, sobbing uncontrollably, rocking her back and forth on the floor of the office. The silence in the room only broken by his wailing. He is a completely broken man. His plan to run away in directly caused the most tragic death imaginable. He is going to have to live with this for the rest of his life. He is going to have to look Steffi in the eye and tell her that her mother is dead because of him. He is going to have to face Ridge. He is going to have to face the wrath of the entire Forrester family. And where is Sheila? She is probably back at the apartment, washing dishes, watching TV, acting like absolutely nothing happened because she thinks she won. She eliminated the threat to her marriage. She thinks Deacon will just come home and be hers forever now. She has no idea that Deacon was there. She has no idea that Deacon held Taylor as she died. She has no idea that the war she just started is going to burn Los Angeles to the ground because Steffi is going to go nuclear. I mean, we thought Steffi was protective before. We thought Steffi was aggressive when she was just warning Taylor to stay away. Now her mother is dead, murdered by the woman she has hated for her entire life. Steffi's not going to wait for the police. Steffi is not going to wait for a trial. Steffi is going to want blood. And Ridge is going to lose his mind. Even Brooke is going to be devastated. The entire fabric of the show has just been ripped apart. And I am just sitting here typing furiously because my mind cannot stop racing about the implications of this. It is so raw. It is so clunky and messy and awful. Why didn't Taylor listen? Why did she have to push it? She had everything. She had her family. She had her career. But she wanted the bad boy. And the bad boy's wife is a serial killer. It is the most classic, tragic soap opera mistake you can make. Never turn your back on Sheila Carter. Never drink the tea. And Deacon, what does he do now? Does he call the cops? Does he go after Sheila himself? He is sitting on the floor of that office covered in the reality of his own actions. He is a coward at heart. We all know Deacon is a coward, but this might actually break him. This might turn him into something else entirely. A man with nothing left to lose because the woman he was willing to give up everything for is dead in his arms. I just keep picturing the teacup just sitting there on the desk, innocent looking, while a woman's life ends on the floor. The absolute chilling visual of it all. The writers really went to the darkest possible place with this one. They didn't give us a hospital bed goodbye. They didn't give us a chance for Taylor to make amends. They just gave us a brutal, painful, sudden poisoning. It is shocking. It is meant to be shocking, and it worked. I am shocked. I am exhausted. So what happens next? I don't even know. I can't even predict it because the rules just went out the window. If Sheila can get away with poisoning a legacy character in broad daylight in her own office, then no one is safe. Literally no one. The Forrester family is about to enter the darkest chapter of their lives, and Deacon is going to be the catalyst for all of it. I need to go splash some cold water on my face. I need to take a breath because writing this has drained me. But I needed you guys to know every single detail. I needed you to feel the rawness of that room, the coldness of Sheila, the foolishness of Taylor, and the absolute soul-crushing despair of Deacon